Oh dear, dear, dear. Little Mosque on the Prairie has come to an end, but great news, the box set, the DVD Blu-ray box set, will have a special features section, including the missing episode where they hang the local gay guy, they forcibly circumcise a little girl and also murder the teenage daughter because she won't wear the hijab. Hello. Tarek Fatah is here to speak about all sorts of issues. You wrote some terrific pieces over the weekend about Little Mosque on the Prairie. It's bad enough it's not funny, but it's just the propaganda I find so offensive.
I found most white people would laugh at it because they were scared that if they didn't laugh, they'd be called a racist. So they were locked up in the living room. The only time it was funny is when it had Italian as a language over it. And have you seen the Italian version?
No, oddly enough, I've missed that.
But what troubled me is in the report that Vinay Menon wrote for the Toronto Star is that it finally found out that there were, quote-unquote, content consultants paid for by the CBC to tell them what to say.
And who were these people?
Well, my information is they were Muslim Brotherhood activists in our city, and one of them actually on a TVO forum said, is a dentistry professor, and he said, well, when we were deciding what to say on the show, and I just said, how did you end up deciding what's to be said on Little Mosque on the Prairie?
When comedies are made about Christianity, and it's absolutely fair game to do that, you know, there's not a priest or a minister advising on what is acceptable and what isn't.
These were not priests, sir. They were not clerics. These are activists in the Muslim Brotherhood legacy organizations in Canada who were telling the CBC what can be said and what cannot be said. And one of the writers, I think her name is Mary Darling, she said, well, we couldn't cross any line.
I saw that quote, we couldn't cross any line.
So the line that couldn't be crossed is that the recent book that's come out, that's sold out, saying...
Let's talk about it in a few months. Let's get rid of this garbage of Mosque on the Prairie, first of all.
Well, it couldn't talk about honor killing, couldn't talk about the problems taking place in Afghanistan, they couldn't talk about women sitting at the battle of the
even
mosque.
Beyond that, and I have to confess anyway, it's the right thing to do, but I didn't watch it very often because it was incredibly bad. It was very bad comedy.
It wasn't comedy at all.
But it seemed to me there was also an element of racism because the ludicrous characters, the blacker you got, the more ludicrous you were.
In fact, the Jamaican convert to Islam was the stupidest.
Yeah.
Next on the level was the Bangladeshi acting like a Pakistani who was the older imam who didn't know how to speak English. And then you got right to the top where the white convert was the most sophisticated. Then came the lighter-skinned Syrian Arab who was sophisticated.
Right.
And not a single anti-racism activist in this country dared say...
What about the guy who, was he the imam or the cleric, who I think was probably, sleeping with the head of English language TV at the time, and now they're married? I don't know all the details.
The executive vice president of
anyway,
CBC.
now he's a good-looking guy, completely clean-shaven. I don't know many imams like that.
1400 years of Islam, there has not been one. CBC, you can expect them to create one, so everybody thinks, oh, clerics are nice-looking guys. You can't get into that system unless you're ugly.
Oh, no, that's not fair. You can be good-looking.
You'd show me
but you
one
have to be bearded, don't you?
No, but look at the number of squint-eyed imams.
Oh, stop it.
I'm serious.
No.
The only imams that were good-looking were my neighborhood imams when Islam was a moral compass. When you went to the mosque to learn ethics, when you went there to say, did you help someone cross the road? Literally.
The book had sold out. Tried to get a copy, but I couldn't. How to Beat Your Wife, or something. Now, Canada's become international. It really has. It was in the Daily Mail in the UK and other international newspapers.
It was in Saudi Arabia, in Al Arabiya. It was in India in 5 newspapers. The Times of India, the Indian Express. It was in Israel in Ynet News and Eretz Israel.
Right.
And the Daily Mail, which carried a photograph of me.
Yes, there was a photograph of you, that one where you're going like this.
No, that's my Bollywood one.
So this is a book. I mean, we should laugh in a way, but it's about how to beat your wife, and it was sold out in an Islamic bookstore.
In Toronto.
But you're not surprised by such a book, are you?
No, in fact, I once bought a book from there that said a list of reasons, and the title was Why Women Will Burn in Hell.
Right.
And this is not written by some obscure person. Maulana Thanvi, the writer, is an Indian scholar of Islam whose book is given to brides right across India and Pakistan and Bangladesh on the first night of their wedding.
Why women will burn in hell?
No, not that. This is a book which is called The Ornaments of Paradise, and Bahishti Zevar, if people would understand, that tells the young bride your duties towards your husband. And they say that your husband is God on earth, which is Majazi Khuda. And
pretty much what my wife thinks.
Oh, I you know my wife. The outhouse. But this book was sold out, and the fact that it was translated into English in India, imported over here, and sold by one of the most prominent Islamic bookstores in the country, it tells you that there is not a single scholar of Islam or an academic or in the intelligentsia who went there to say, shut it down. I was hoping 100 imams would come out to protest against this bookstore, but no.
Now, we barely need to say this. If such a book, and it could never be, was published and sold in an evangelical or Catholic bookstore or Jewish bookstore in this city, this would be the lead item on every single network, every newspaper, everywhere. There'd be questions in Parliament.
But there isn't one for this because people are scared, Michael. People are unwilling. They are so fearful that someone in the Muslim community will be annoyed. That the Toronto Sun, in fact, had to run the second day a story of all these imams saying that, no, I've never heard of this book. They're lying. Everyone in my part of the world knows about this book. It's given to every bride for the last 5 decades, I would say. And for them to say, we've never heard of this, because it tells you exactly how to beat your wife, how to pull her ear, how to slap her, make sure that no signs are left after you beat your wife, and the depiction of the wife as an idiot, that even if your wife is stupid, be nice to her.
Well, I think you're wrong, because I have seen moments of Little Mosque on the Prairie, and I know what really happens. As always, Tarek, thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting me.